What if Naruto was Doflamingo's reincarnation? The incarnation of evil from One Piece thrown into the world of Naruto and given to Naruto? How would this story even play out? Would Naruto be evil or good? You're going to be having to stick around to the end of this video, seeing as this is going to be a one shot and the full story is going to be covered. I didn't call it a movie just because it's too short to be called that, so I figured calling it a one shot would be a lot more better. That said though, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys go on to enjoy today's video, then definitely make sure to smash up that like button, seeing as it helps us so much with the algorithm, and seeing as it's only a one-parter, it would mean so much if you guys were to help your boy out. That said, I'm going to be taking attendance, so report it down below, and with nothing else to say, enjoy.
Hey Ross, sauce it up.
We start the story off with Naruto being chased by a bunch of villagers. Why, you might ask? Well, it's simply because he has the 9-tailed Jinchuriki inside of him. And so Naruto's running, turning corners, and grown-ups and younger people alike would all be chasing him, trying to attack him. Why? Because a certain kid lied, and since he is the quote-unquote demon fox, everybody just kind of went on the bandwagon and tried to beat him, using that as the caveat to beat on Naruto, seeing as it was his birthday. Naruto at this point would be 9 years old, and Naruto did nothing at all to ask for this kind of beating that he was about to receive. Naruto ran and ran and ran, and eventually Naruto would turn towards a corner where he can't run anymore. The villagers finally see him, stop, and evil smiles come across their faces as they beat down on Naruto. Now, Naruto would be left in a weakened state, screaming for help, begging for mercy, asking why in the world they would even do this to him. But the only response was, "Shut up, you demon," and they continue to beat on him. Naruto eventually would be left alone, bloodied and bruised, and it would be the entire next day. Naruto had just woken up from the beating. Naruto walks a certain distance away, and eventually Naruto sees this gigantic house. Naruto, not thinking that he has enough time to make it anywhere near a hospital or even his own home, decides to make his way towards said house. And once he gets there, the gate literally opens on its own and then closes up. Naruto finds that strange, but he continues going towards the front door where he was going to knock and ask if he could have some help. He was already thinking to himself that he was going to be told no, but the door just opened. Naruto let himself in and realized that nobody was inside. Nobody but the picture of the 4th Hokage, Kushina, both hugging each other, with Kushina's belly being pretty large. Naruto would be like, "Is this the 4th's house?" He'd be like, "Am I invading?" And he'd be really worried, thinking about what kind of thing the villagers might do to him at this point. Rage would become coming to the surface for Naruto, and he would think to himself how horrible those villagers treat him, thinking that someday he's gonna get his revenge, but he doesn't know how yet. That's why Naruto wants to become a ninja this time. Suddenly though, Naruto would begin exploring the house, realizing that since the 4th Hokage is dead, this house has to be abandoned. However, the house was as clean as the day that the 4th died, and Naruto, seeing this picture, would end up seeing a letter. Now he goes over towards it, opens it up, and there it would say, "Hey Naruto, if you're reading this, I probably died on the night of the 9-tails incident. I ended up having to fight a man with a mask, extremely powerful, and if I'm writing this to you, either he took me out or Kurama did. But just know that I loved you very much, and that no matter what happens at all, I'll always love you, Naruto. I'm sorry me and your mother couldn't be there for you. Just know that she loved you so much and she would have given anything for you. And that, as your father, I feel pretty bad that I couldn't help you out." Naruto would feel tears beginning to come from his eyes as reading the words "my son" and seeing the name Naruto would just bring rage. Now these tears would be of straight, like he's sad, he's happy, but most of all, Naruto is feeling an immense amount of bloodlust, rage, anger, just these emotions of hate are just overflowing within Naruto. And Naruto literally could not bear the thought of knowing that he could potentially get beat on again day after day after day. Naruto at this point was currently cursing the world, and in his mind only one thing was going through it. The fact that all those damn villagers, all this time, they've been beating me. They've been treating me like garbage. And I bet they knew who my father was. I bet they knew that I came from such heritage, and they still decided to beat on me. I bet this was fun for them. I think they found it fun to mess with me. Naruto, feeling enraged, grits his teeth, and through rage, Naruto would feel a strange energy emanating off of him. Nobody could get hit by the wave of Conqueror's Haki that Naruto was letting off, but it was going out like crazy. And Naruto would have knocked anybody out that would have been in the vicinity, but since nobody was there, nobody was affected. Naruto, however, once he's done reading this, would continue exploring the house with nothing but rage in his heart, thinking to himself that he promises someday he'll become strong and he'll destroy this damned village. He'll have so much rage for the third Hokage even, and even though Naruto will not show it most of this what if till the end, he hates Hiruzen so unbelievably much. But ultimately, what ends up happening is that Naruto continues wandering through the house. He's just checking around, he's looking at things, and Naruto can't help but notice a strange fruit. Now, Naruto at seeing this strange fruit would think to himself, like, it's so weird looking. And it would be the string no Mi, right? And Naruto seeing this fruit would just be like, what is it? You know what I mean? Like, he would think to himself how crazy it is that this fruit hasn't gone bad all these years. It doesn't look like anything special was done to it. And honestly, it was just a knickknack that Minato kept around in his house, something that he found during the third Great Ninja War, and he obviously didn't want to eat it, so he never did. He just thought it looked funny because he didn't want to taste it and see if it was poisonous. But Naruto goes towards the kitchen, he sees food and he cooks, but the curiosity would get the best of Naruto, and ultimately he would save that fruit for dessert. Not knowing that it could potentially be poisonous, Naruto immediately gulps the whole thing down the hatch, and immediately after swallowing it, Naruto feels like throwing up so bad. It was the worst thing Naruto could have ever tasted. Naruto felt like he needed to cry just at the thought of swallowing that disgusting piece of filth. But Naruto felt different. It was almost as if he felt a flood of information rushing to his head the moment that he digested it. And Naruto felt like something new had just begun starting to live in his body. Something strange. Now, we both know that devil fruit users can't eat two devil fruits because of the fact that the devils will clash. Now, what would happen with Kurama, seeing as he'll be inside of Naruto, seeing as, the devil inside of the devil fruit has to be somewhere, has to reside in somewhere, and that's Naruto's body. However, what ends up pretty much happening is that devil inside of the fruit would end up going inside of a different cage inside of Naruto, and they literally can't fight each other. They'll hate each other, but they can't do anything to each other. Now, I'm doing this so Naruto could still have the abilities of the Nine Tails and could also have the string abilities, seeing as, Kurama's whole ability is like, his whole thing is hatred, and, obviously that changes towards the end, but during the beginning, that was Kurama's whole shtick. So I figured that keeping this constant would definitely be very, very, very interesting, and it would make for an awesome story. So yeah, we're going to be keeping that constant, but everything else is kind of going to be changing. That said though, ladies and gentlemen, continuing on with the story, Naruto, after having this flood of information come to him, realizing that he has new abilities, would try to use them, shooting some strings at a fruit, and the fruit would instantly get cut into 3 different pieces. Naruto would be shocked at the fact that that string, that insignificant thing like string, could cut through fruit, and Naruto would be shocked. During the next couple of years, Naruto would spend his time trying to master and use these abilities of the string fruit. And what Naruto would find would impress him to no end. It's the fact that it's so versatile. Naruto could use these strings to do so many things. Now, we obviously know that Doflamingo does have his devil fruit awakened, and he's able to turn everything into strings, and that's why he's able to use the bird cage, and that's why he's able to grab onto the clouds and basically fly. But I don't want him to have access to that until like after the time skip. So we're going to be saying that Naruto this time around only has the abilities of making string clones, has the abilities of shooting extremely sharp strings at you, has the abilities of, you know, obviously Conqueror's Haki, but he doesn't know how to use it, and can ultimately control somebody by attaching a string to their back, right? Like attacking the string to their nervous system, making it so that they could become his puppets. But mostly the thing that Naruto will use his strings for is for combat like purposes, right? Just in the same way that the ninjas in the Naruto universe use kunais and strings to kind of like trap people, Naruto will use his strings in that very same way, but he doesn't reveal that he has the ability. Naruto opts to keep it a secret. And now we obviously know that Hiruzen with his crystal ball would actually end up finding out about this, and Naruto would tell Hiruzen to keep it a secret, being like, oh, you know, it's nothing. One day, however, when Naruto is of the age of 12 years old and he's about to graduate, and Naruto was like knows that he was going to graduate because Naruto is very strong, you know, he's actually smart and he doesn't play off as some dumb goofy guy, you know, he's smart, but he does definitely act goofy still kind of sometimes. I lied, you know, I said he doesn't act goofy, but he will, because that's going to be kind of like his cover up personality, but his real one is going to be exactly like Doflamingo's, right? Where he's conniving and evil and he just doesn't want anything good for the world. You know, if anything, he wants to just watch it burn, you know what I mean? And especially he wants to watch Konoha burn for everything that this damned village has done to him all these years. Naruto hates Konoha, and that's pretty much as blatant as I could possibly put it. But continuing on with the story, Naruto would eventually be told by Mizuki that, you know, he did pass, but if he wants to become Rookie of the Year and take that from Sasuke, all he has to do is show that he can, you know, recover things in a mission and be stealthy. So he has to steal the Scroll of Sealing and learn one jutsu. Naruto, not being dumb, after realizing that this is a good opportunity for stealing the scroll and saying that he was tricked, would take the job. Also, wanting to take the opportunity to get on Hiruzen's good side, would capture him and make it look so that, you know, he was working for him and, you know, he's really a part of this village and all that. And so Naruto steals the scroll, learns the ability of the multi-shadow clone jutsu due to his high chakra potency, and would also take down the entirety of the scroll using his string ability to create a perfect copy of the entirety of the scroll of sealing with all of its jutsus, mind you, for his own personal use. He would hide this fact, but ultimately Mizuki finally ends up arriving, and when Mizuki does arrive, Naruto looks to Mizuki, and Mizuki would be like, Naruto, give me the scroll. Naruto would be like, oh, sure, here's the scroll. And he would toss the scroll over towards Mizuki, with Mizuki saying, you fool, throwing a wind shuriken at the direction I mean, not a wind shuriken, but a massive shuriken, right? At the direction of Naruto, which Naruto easily would dodge. He would then connect his string to the back of Mizuki and would make Mizuki walk over towards him. As soon as Mizuki's in front of him, he'd be like, Naruto, what are you? And Naruto would be like, did you really think that I thought that this was going to give me the Rookie of the Year? You're even more of a bigger fool than I took you for, Mizuki. And that's saying something, considering I always thought you were such a clown. Mizuki, looking at Naruto, would now have fear in his eyes. And Naruto would grab at string, as using his string ability, he would cut Mizuki all over his body multiple times. And he would say, you know, you're lucky I need you alive. But I only barely need you alive. So he would cut him more and more and more and more, and get rid of Mizuki's overall ability to use his arms by destroying the nervous system part that controls that. So now Mizuki can't weave any hand signs, and he's basically stuck in the Orochimaru predicament. Naruto then turns in Mizuki and the Scroll of Sealing, and Naruto would be told by Hiruzen that he's proud. However, another person would take account of Naruto's great deed. That would be Danzo. And Danzo this time can definitely manipulate Naruto a lot easier than he would have done so in the original. Naruto looks at the direction of Hiruzen and he would be thanked for his efforts, and Naruto would be like, can I get paid for this? Hiruzen would be like, nah, Naruto, like, you know, like I would, but you're not a ninja yet, so technically this was just kind of a favor to the village. Naruto grits his teeth and, he walks out, but on the way out, he bumps into Danzo, and he doesn't even apologize. Danzo looks at Naruto with the evilish smile on his face, and he knows what he's gonna do. The next day, he would end up running into Naruto, who would be training on the battlefields, and Naruto would say, "You can come out now. I've sensed your presence for a while." Danzo then looking at Naruto and saying, My, you're very, very attentive. I didn't think you'd be able to notice me." And Naruto would say, "Get to the point, old man." Danzo smirks inside, obviously not internally, not really on the outside, but then he says, "Look, truth is, Naruto, I've been watching you, and your abilities are phenomenal. You have so much potential inside you, and that ability of yours, what is it called?" Naruto would say, "It's none of your business." But Danzo stops and realizes that the route he was about to take wasn't going to work. So instead, he just takes over and decides to just like gas up Naruto and make him feel like he's actually going to care for him and like he can help him achieve his goals. He basically starts telling Naruto that he sees so much potential in him and that he can see Naruto going very far in this village, saying that Naruto could even maybe help him become the new Hokage and take over this damn village and put it on the right path. Naruto, once he hears that Danzo wants to overthrow Hiruzen, would finally have his attention caught. But he would then look back at Danzo and say, "And how do I know you're not lying to me?" Before looking at him activating observation haki, and Danzo would look back at Naruto and say, "Sheesh, kid, no need to worry. I can't lie. I have a jutsu on myself that doesn't allow me to, but I could stretch the truth." And he smirks, Naruto laughing and saying, "I like you." He would then look back at Danzo and say, "Look, I'm okay with working for you for now, but just to make it clear, you're working for me. For the first couple of days, I just want to see how you run things. But just to be clear, Danzo, I'm not going to be working under the foot of anybody. You're going to be working for me, and we'll either be equals or nothing. Do we got a deal?" And Danzo would say, "Sure, Naruto, we got a deal." Naruto then looks at Danzo and says, "And look, if you try to betray me, I will kill you." So much killer intent coming off of Naruto that he would even shake Danzo himself. And Danzo would smirk underneath his facade before saying, "Okay, Naruto, sounds amazing." Before then, Naruto would regularly start completing missions for Danzo and doing small little things that Danzo would end up training Naruto to do. Naruto also would train under Danzo whenever he wasn't doing anything else, and Naruto would advance so much when it comes to his levels of observation haki, armament haki, and his conqueror's haki would not exactly begin tapping in quite yet. He doesn't know how to control it, but he's trying to learn. Ultimately though, Naruto would be assigned to Team 7, which Naruto would be more than okay with, and eventually he goes on 2 weeks worth of D-rank missions. During those weeks, Naruto would be told by Danzo to do a couple of missions for him, and they would basically be prepping themselves to finally get ready to overthrow Hiruzen. Danzo would explain to Naruto about a certain plan with somebody who's going to be helping them out drastically when it comes to overthrowing this damned village. Naruto smirks, thinking to himself that that's perfect, and so Hiruzen unknowingly would have one of his members just backstabbing him completely. Danzo would begin working with Orochimaru, and Naruto eventually makes his way towards the bell test. Everything like that goes just like it does in canon, since Naruto's still playing that same persona. He makes it into Team 7, and eventually once they encounter the Demon Brothers on their mission with Tazuna, Naruto would easily be able to take care of one of them, which would catch the attention of Kakashi. But eventually they encounter Zabuza, Kakashi fights against Zabuza, yada yada yada, and Naruto helps out Kakashi by shooting strings at the direction of Zabuza. Now Kakashi would be completely caught off guard by this ability, but Naruto decides that it's now as good a time as ever to show it off, seeing as they won't be able to counter his abilities either way. Zabuza lets go of Kakashi's water prison status, and then Naruto would just watch as Kakashi would end up soloing Zabuza. Eventually we get down to the bridge about 2 to 3 weeks later, and the battle between Kakashi and Zabuza and Sasuke and Haku would be going down. Now Sasuke, obviously he would be on the back foot just like in canon, and Kakashi would definitely be beating Zabuza just like in canon as well. Once Naruto arrives after having helped out Inari and Tsunami, would end up arriving and turning the tides of the battle between Haku. Naruto, seeing that Haku was doing nothing other than going from mirror to mirror, decides that he's going to be using a very barbaric tactic to kill Haku. Naruto, using his string abilities, would create a bunch of strings going off in multiple directions so that the next time that Haku would shoot out to another mirror, Haku would get sliced up in Mortal Kombat fashion by these strings. At the speed Haku was going at, he completely gets cut to shreds and little itty bitty pieces of Haku. Haku bites, and Naruto would laugh as the blood would spray all over him and Sasuke. Naruto kicks Sasuke and tells him to wake up, and Sasuke would cough out blood before finally waking back up. Naruto then turning towards Zabuza, who would then get killed by Kakashi's Chidori, and then ultimately Gato's men would arrive. Naruto, seeing Gato's men, would end up just being like, "Come on, Gato, you really expect this to terrify us?" Naruto's clone would actually be doing the talking, seeing as Naruto was currently with Sasuke trying to help him out, using his strings to, cover up the wounds that Sasuke has, and Sasuke would be ultimately trying to just come back to consciousness. Naruto, however, the clone, would just simply use a string attack to dismantle all of Gato's men and ultimately kill an abundant amount of them, leaving Gato left. Naruto saying, "I think that you should be left for these villagers though. You have put them in quite a sticky situation." Before then using his string abilities to grab Gato by the leg and drag him over towards him. Gato screaming and begging for his life, saying he'll give him anything. And Naruto says, "What you're giving me right now is more than enough. It's satisfaction," before laughing and ultimately making his way back towards the village with Kakashi and everybody else. Kakashi would wonder what's going on with Naruto, seeing as that's not the personality Naruto gave off. He didn't seem sadistic the first time he met him, and he certainly didn't expect that the son of Minato was going to turn out like that. But what was he expecting? Kakashi ultimately makes it back towards the village, tells Hiruzen everything, and ultimately the team would be enlisted into the Chuunin exams. They have their pre-trials just to see if they can qualify. Of course they make it. Sasuke gets his ass handed to him by Lee, which does happen just like in the original, and eventually we would find ourselves in the exam room. Naruto cheats by using his string to copy the papers of others around him, and eventually we would find ourselves in the forest, where Naruto would willingly let Orochimaru bite at the neck of Sasuke and just make it seem like he was facing off against Orochimaru, just putting on an entire play and facade for the team. Because of this, Ebisu and those sound ninjas don't end up coming for Sakura and Naruto in the forest, and so those members of the sound squad don't end up losing their limbs or even getting terrified by Sasuke. Instead, we would get the normal preliminary rounds just like usual. Naruto using the multi-shadow clone jutsu would destroy Kiba, and then ultimately we find ourselves at the 1 month of training. Naruto gets offered training by Jiraiya, but Naruto just really doesn't want to take it. Naruto doesn't like Jiraiya, and knowing that Jiraiya could have been there for him his whole life would just make Naruto angry. Naruto tells that to Jiraiya, and he would be like, "Oh, and by the way, don't think I don't know who you are. You're the legendary Sannin Jiraiya, my supposed godfather, the one that was probably supposed to be there for me my whole life. Don't try to get involved now, you old fart. It's not like you did anything before." And Jiraiya would just be sat like sitting there, just realizing that Naruto was literally 100% right. Like, Jiraiya could have done so much more for Naruto, and he didn't. So Naruto has every right to be angry at him. Instead, Naruto spends this entire month working with Danzo and working out the kinks of the plan with Orochimaru. Naruto spending this time actually training with Orochimaru as well, and he would learn a bunch of jutsus from Orochimaru and would even be given the abilities of the curse mark. Naruto wanting to tap into as much power as possible, and seeing as Naruto won't be getting access to Sage Mode in this version, I figured it would make a lot of sense if we give Naruto at minimum a curse mark ability. Now the curse mark transformation that Naruto has can be up to your own interpretation, but ultimately we would find ourselves in the battle between Sasuke and Gaara, and once the Chidori would be hit with Gaara and Gaara screams out that he's bleeding and he runs off, the attack would immediately start. Naruto would be alongside Orochimaru, and he would actually help Orochimaru kill Hiruzen, meaning that the moment in which Hiruzen catches Orochimaru off guard and, grabs his arm with the soul ability, Naruto would arrive and just completely using his string-like abilities would slash at the back of Hiruzen and cut his arms off with the strings. Before looking at Hiruzen, who would ask Naruto why he's working with him, and Naruto would finally reveal the truth. Naruto would be like, seriously? After all this time, you're still gonna ask me why I'm working with him? Isn't it obvious, old man? My whole life you let these damned villagers treat me like garbage, even though you knew who I was, and not once did you think of telling me, hey Naruto, did you know you're the 4th Hokage's son? Not once did I hear a peep about that. Not to mention, you barely gave me subpar living experience, and all of my life you gave me a damn budget. How do you think that a kid is supposed to deal when he has a budget? How was I supposed to know how to spend my money? My first couple of months of being left alone, I had to starve my way through the last weeks. The beatings only got worse, and what did you do about it? Nothing. You would say, the villagers will understand someday. You would say, I don't know why they do that to you, Naruto. You would say, I'll help you out next time, Naruto. But where was the help? The only person that's helped me this whole time has been Danzo. And honestly, he hasn't been much help either. As Orochimaru laughs and cackles, and Naruto says, but you know what? One thing will bring me satisfaction, you old man, and that's gonna be ripping you limb from limb. As using his strings, he casts down a multitude of strings and just completely rips Hiruzen into 3 pieces. Hiruzen's body would ultimately die right there. And Naruto looks down at the ensuing chaos, right? Before arriving down below with Orochimaru, and both of them would end up beginning to attack the village. One thing that would happen that would be absolutely insane is that Might Guy realizing that the village is actually like, it could literally almost die because Orochimaru's there and Naruto's there, would end up using the abilities of the 8 inner gates. Now he taps into that, and Naruto and Orochimaru would both get absolutely clobbered the moment that he would tap into that. Kakashi still being pre-time skip wouldn't be able to really do much, and Naruto using observation and haki would easily be able to overtake Kakashi. However, when it comes to Might Guy, Naruto seeing that Might Guy's gonna be too much to handle would look towards Orochimaru and say they have to leave now. Orochimaru, realizing that Might Guy's about to transform, would use the reverse summoning jutsu to get out of there and would end up fleeing. But sadly, Might Guy used the 8 gates, and you can't exactly turn that off once it's on. So Might Guy just goes around the village, destroys everything, and even ends up defeating Gaara and the Sand siblings, and ultimately he would end up saving the life of Sasuke before he could die to Gaara. But that doesn't mean that Might Guy's life can be saved, and so he would unfortunately die. With Might Guy not being around in the village and Hiruzen unfortunately dying this time, they would end up telling Jiraiya to go in search of Tsunade. But because this time Naruto isn't there to use his Rasengan and change her mind, and all that doesn't end up going down, she says no. She says, no, I don't want to go back. And so Jiraiya has to make the hard choice of either becoming Kage himself or letting Danzo become Kage. And because nobody would really realize what was really going on, Danzo ends up pretty much becoming Kage in the dead of night by just killing the Hokage council and pretty much taking over forcefully. Naruto returning to the village about a week later and helping Danzo take control of the village. Jiraiya returns only to find out that the village has been taken over, and Jiraiya would hit with the realization of like, what do I do? But what can he do? He literally could not do a thing to help them now. And Naruto being Danzo's right-hand man, would be there when Jiraiya returns. An all-out fight would ensue, and ultimately, Jiraiya ends up having to tap into Sage mode, which would barely not be enough. And Naruto, through awakening his Devil Fruit, using a very OP ability of pretty much shooting multitudes of strings at Jiraiya and just using his armament hockey attacks and observation hockey to dodge his attacks, and activating the curse mark and having the one-tailed QB form come out, would be able to just barely, with the help of Danzo's Izanagi, be able to scrape by a victory against Jiraiya the Gallant, leading to his death and ultimately the taking over of the Hidden Leaf Village. Under new management, many things would change, and Sasuke, seeing as he's stuck in this village, wouldn't be allowed to leave, seeing as Orochimaru, or no, actually he would be allowed to leave, but Sasuke would end up leaving off with Orochimaru, and eventually time skip would happen. Sasuke goes off to try to fight his brother Itachi, nothing happens there, and eventually, I wish I could sit here and be like, oh, like Naruto's able to like protect the village from pain and all that stuff. But no, I'm sorry. When Pain ends up arriving at the village with all the paths, with no information on how to beat Pain whatsoever, unfortunately Naruto does end up dying to Pain. Now, Naruto doesn't exactly have control of the 9 tails, so let's say he could tap into like 3 tails potentially without losing control. He also has access to the curse mark, Devil Fruit's Awakening, observation, and armament hockey. You know what? I think Naruto would fare very well and would be able to destroy the paths alongside with Danzo's root, Anbu, and Danzo. No, yeah, I do think that Naruto would survive, actually. I wasn't thinking straight. But yeah, Naruto would ultimately be able to beat Pain, but the loss of many of the villagers that they lost in the battle would be way too insane to recover from. Seeing as they don't have Tsunade this time around, Naruto and Danzo would be left in a state of like, what do we do? And ultimately, Naruto would continue being pursued by the Akatsuki. Danzo would end up making a 4th Hokage summit, and the world war would finally commence and would end up happening. However, Naruto not being the same person that he is in canon and not learning the same things that he would have as well, like not having the real Sage mode and not even learning or gaining access to KCM1, seeing as he wouldn't be sent to the Cloud Village and none of that would go down, Naruto is ultimately way too weak to save himself in the war and would unfortunately end up dying. Or actually, fortunately for the world, because if Naruto got to the levels of Doflamingo, everything would have been ruined. So basically, a Nantai villain trying to do something right kind of by using the infinite Tsukiyomi would end up clapping Naruto, taking the thing, and Hagoromo, not wanting to give the power to Naruto, who's evil, would just let him die. He gives all of it to Sasuke, and Sasuke, through a talk with Hagoromo, would finally have his character change moment, finally tapping into new powers, and would by himself be able to defeat an Obito who was completely rampaging. But Naruto died. And why is that? Well, 3 main reasons. The first one, obviously Naruto doesn't have access to Sage mode or KCM, any variant. The second one, Naruto doesn't get the amp for the Sage of 6 Paths. And the third reason, Naruto just isn't Naruto with this kind of personality. That greed for power and destruction got the better of him. And Naruto being able to rule over the village with an iron fist and ultimately being a complete asshole to many of the people that were like that to him when he was a kid would just have not worked hard enough to become powerful enough to match somebody like Obito when he would ultimately reach his 10-tailed state. It was just not gonna happen. Awakening of Devil Fruit or not, but I don't think that Gear 4 Luffy has any chance of beating an Obito. So I'm going to be having to say that Obito ultimately stomps, Sasuke saves the day, and through a character change like moment, he would become the main guy. But because nobody would be there to help Sasuke out, and since he doesn't have the 9 tails, Sasuke ultimately would end up being defeated when Kaguya Otsutsuki, or no, not Kaguya, but not even Toneri, but when Jigen ends up arriving and all that stuff. When the Otsutsukis come in and all that stuff happens, yeah, Sasuke dies. Sorry, but Sarada, not gonna happen. And ultimately, that's pretty much the conclusion of what if Naruto was Doflamingo's reincarnation. That's what I think would have happened. And honestly, I like the direction that I took with the story. As soon as I started scripting it out, I knew it was going to be a short one just because of the direction that I wanted to take the story in. I figured that I could do this and get it done really, really well. And so if you guys went on to enjoy any part of this story, then please smash the like button. Seeing as it's only one button, it takes you 2 seconds, and it genuinely makes a massive difference in the algorithm, right? You know, if you enjoyed this video and you made it this far, you probably want other people to be able to enjoy it, you know, make it this far as well. Don't be a gatekeeper now. Like the video, help your boy out, and make your boy more confident in trying to post more content. But that said though, ladies and gentlemen, it has been your boy Xehther, and I am out. Peace.